Hello and welcome back. Today I thought I would do a read through of part 1 of my book Letters from Life. This is the part that has Like a Girl in it. I have said in previous videos that I tend to organise my books into sections, so it's not just one long kind of list of poems. I think I do that because I want them to mean something as a whole, as a collection, rather than just as standalone poems. So I never really know what the organisation is going to be until I've written them all, until I look at them all. But this one I realised was just about life, about how, as I say here, sometimes it can feel like we're being taken for a ride in life, but actually we are in the driving seat. And that's what I wanted all these poems to be a reminder of for us. As it became clear it was all about life, I decided to make it into 3 sections: growing up, being grown up, I suppose, and then growing older. So today we're going to read through the growing up section. This book does start with this poem here as a sort of little introduction. So I'll start here and then we'll read the growing up section. If my life was a song, then I wonder who'd listen, who'd fall in love with the music I'd written, who'd sing my notes at the top of their lungs, be moved by the melody they had just sung, who'd hate the chorus, the words on repeat, who'd feel my rhythm and dance to the beat, who'd want to alter my pitch and my tone, who'd only listen in secret, alone. If our lives are all songs, then perhaps we should listen more closely to what other people have written. And we'll hear the pitch of their highs and their lows, the changes their music gets faster than slows. We'll learn all their words and we'll know when to sing and when to be quiet and not say a thing. We'll know all their rhymes and repeated refrains. We'll listen to them and they might do the same. They might learn the lyrics and chords to our track, and when we sing our song, then they might sing it back. And right at the moment they echo our words, we'll realise just how much we need to be heard. Growing up. Baby steps. We have to stop thinking that we failed every time we fall. When babies are learning to walk, we don't assume they failed every time they hit the ground. We realise that they are simply not done trying yet. We praise them for getting up and going again, because we realise that it is much easier to fall down than it is to pull yourself back up to standing. Babies don't stop trying, no matter how many times they fall. They don't give up. They get up, and they continue to believe they can do it. Sometimes it takes a long time. Sometimes they need to rest, but they do get up. They find their balance, and eventually they walk. Then they run, they skip, they gallop, and they leap. Sometimes we fall, and sometimes we need to rest. But we have not failed. We are finding our balance, and we are preparing to run. Even if we need to take baby steps at first. Healing. Shouting at others does not make our life quieter. Speaking ill of others does not make people speak well of us, and hurting others does not heal us. The way that cutting someone else's flowers or depriving them of water or shutting them in the dark will not make ours grow. We cannot expect growth if we don't focus on ourselves. So we have to nurture ourselves, be patient with ourselves, allow ourselves light, feed ourselves. We are all born to blossom. But weakening someone else's flower will not strengthen our roots. And strong roots mean we bloom. Strong roots mean growth. Yes, we are all born to blossom, to grow. But we've got to heal our roots first. Blue. The Sky came to school with me yesterday, and he didn't quite know what to do, but the people in charge said, "Don't worry," because they knew he knew how to be blue. and blue was of utmost importance. It was their marker against which to test, so they told him to be at his bluest and he would sail over the bar they had set. But it soon became clear very quickly they had no understanding of skies, like how blue only follows from orange and yellow each day as the sun starts to rise, and they tested him under the twilight, when his blue wasn't brilliant or bright, because he knew that his rest was important, and so they saw sky that was blackened by night. And even when he tried to prove himself, with his lightning, his snow and his clouds, they complained of his energy, moaned they were cold, and they told him those things didn't count. So he learned not to show his true colours, all his talents and wonderful things. Yes, he stopped painting sunsets and sprinkling out stars, and stopped playing his songs to the wind, because they all seemed determined to overlook all the things the sky knew he could do, and they missed all his colours and magic because they'd been too busy looking for blue. Wings. I remember 0, tiny fingers, tiny toes, tiny smile with dimples and a tiny button nose, tiny little legs and feet and tiny little hands, tiny little voice that I soon learnt to understand. And as the days turned into years, you grew and grew and grew. You found your voice and found your feet and learnt what makes you you. And now it's been a decade we have travelled round the sun, and 10 years seems a lot, but life has scarcely just begun, and yet you now are ready to stand on your own 2 feet, to walk towards the future and discover where it leads. So though it seems a giant step for one that once was small, the world is at your feet and you must go explore it all. See, it's hard for me to fathom how your tiny hands have grown, how quickly life has raced ahead, how fast the years have flown. But I know I have prepared you to go soar beyond the sky, and your wings are almost ready. It will soon be time to fly. A name. There's a name in these trousers, a name in this shirt, a name in this lunch bag and one in this skirt. There's a name in this cardigan, one in these shoes, one in this jacket that they're bound to lose. There's a name in this book, and a name on this tie, a name on their lips as they're waving goodbye, and maybe today they're a name on a list. But under the name they are much more than this. 'Cause one day you might see that name from those shoes, accepting a new Nobel Prize in the news. One day you might need a doctor or nurse and recognise them as the name from that shirt. One day you might watch a film or a show and see a name listed that you used to know. Yes, there is a name, and another and more, a long list of names that you've not met before, but there is a person who wants you to see, to hear them and recognise all they can be. There's a name in this uniform, but please don't forget, it's the name of a person who isn't grown yet, and there is no limit to how far they'll aim. As long as they're shown, they are more than a name. Starting small. Life can feel a little big sometimes, a little overwhelming, suffocating. We can feel like we have huge bridges to cross or giant mountains to move, and sometimes it seems as if it's a bridge too far and a mountain too high. But just remember, no one crosses a bridge without first taking a few steps, and no one moves a mountain without first moving a few rocks. Every big job is made up of lots of smaller ones. Start small. Small voices create big change if they don't give up. Small footsteps walk long journeys if they keep going. And small bricks can build huge towers if there are enough of them. So start small. And one day, without realising, you might find that you're halfway across the bridge, or that you've moved half the mountain. And you might find that life has become a little smaller, a little less overwhelming. And you'll be able to stand on that bridge for a moment, stand with the mountain for a minute, and you'll be able to breathe. Trust. A seed does not worry about whether or not it will grow. Petals do not worry about falling, and leaves do not worry about wilting. Flowers do not worry that they will not bloom. They simply trust. Trust that there is no rush to grow. Trust that they don't need to hang on for any longer than is necessary. And trust that they do not need to look bright and beautiful all of the time. Because they more than trust, they know that they will grow, and they will blossom, and they will come back stronger once their winter is over. And so, my darling, will you? Extraordinary. You are not here to be ordinary. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but what's so extraordinary about me? Well, you are so extraordinary that the move has to move oceans just to erase your footprints from the beach. You are so important that the earth itself pulls you close to stop you from floating away. You are so full of wonder that your eyes contain more atoms than there are stars in the known universe. And if you think of all the people you love the most, you will realise that the way in which you love them is not in the least bit ordinary. You love with such power, such passion and such fire that it is comparable only to the sun. No, you are not here to be an ordinary thing in an ordinary world, my darling. The world itself knows you are not. It knows you are magic. Magazines. I don't look like the women in magazines. Oh, but you're not supposed to. They are a two-dimensional snapshot in time, a work of art on the page that has been practised and posed and styled and edited over and over again. Your hair is not supposed to look like theirs because it moves with you. It bounces with every step you take. It tickles your child's shoulder as you kiss them goodnight, and it curls upon your pillow as you dream. Your skin is not supposed to look like theirs because it has lived every day of your life with you. It has laughed until it's lined and cried until it's creased. Your clothes are not supposed to look like theirs because they are along for the ride with you. They are walking the dog and holding meetings and having brunch with friends. You are not supposed to look like the people in the magazines because you are a living, breathing work of art. And wouldn't it be a shame if a two-dimensional image stopped you living? If you took all of the angles and facets of what makes you you and wished they were smoother or softer, silent and still. If you sanded them down until they were indistinguishable, until you were no longer you. Because surely living is what we are here to do, in all its messy hair and crumpled clothes and wrinkled skin glory. A picture can't hug a friend or walk the dog or laugh until it cries. A picture can't dream. So it isn't that you don't look like the women in the magazines, my darling. It's that they don't look like you. And you know what? Maybe they wish they did. Beautiful. You are not a body. You're a soul within a skin, and that which makes you beautiful is that which lies within. So if the words you spoke became tattooed across your chest, or sewn across a t-shirt that you wore each time you dressed, if all the deeds you did each day were braided through your hair, and every selfie that you took laid all your actions bare, if what's inside your heart was truly written on your sleeve, and your eyes really were a window to what lies beneath, then could you look at what you did and all the things you said and still maintain your beauty with your inner self instead? Yes, could you truly say your beauty's more than just skin deep if you looked at your reflection and it shows what lies beneath? SOS. She cries all her tears to her pillow, and they fall in great dashes and dots, like a message she secretly whispers to a world where she's found herself lost. Often she cries to a rhythm, like the rain as it falls to a beat, and her tears dance their way to her pillow, as the rhythm then lulls her to sleep. But he has been paying attention, and he's heard every tear that has dropped, so he's reaching a hand out to hold her, and collecting her tears till they've stopped. And he does it without expectation, just as long as she knows he is there, so that if she decides that she'll cry in the light, she can trust that there's someone who cares. You see, when the night is upon us, and we simply can't see any more, well then, all other senses are heightened, and we hear things we didn't before. And she has been crying in darkness, in a bid to conceal how she's felt. but she doesn't know he has learnt Morse code. So he knows she is crying for help. Penny for your thoughts. One day at dawn, I met a girl as I went out to walk. She didn't notice me at first, because she was lost in thought. I held a coin out to her, and then quietly I said, "A penny for your thoughts." But she looked sad and shook her head. "A penny will not be enough," she whispered with a sigh. "I think I'd need 100 coins to say what's on my mind." "Well, maybe start with 1, I said, and she took it in her palm. She took the deepest breath, and then she gently took my arm. She slowly started speaking, and her eyes grew slightly brighter. Her face relaxed a little, and the air around felt lighter. I held another penny out. She took that one as well, and her breathing steadied as she spoke the tales she had to tell. And all of this continued for an hour, maybe longer, and all the while her voice was growing confident and stronger, and then we reached the wishing well. She looked at me and grinned, and one by one she wished on pennies as she threw them in. Then she told me thank you, waved goodbye and walked away, and I saw her only once more after seeing her that day. I saw her trading thoughts again, for pennies made for wishing. But this time someone else spoke, for the pennies she was giving. Just a phase. When you look up to the moon tonight, you may only see a small crescent of it, the shape a child draws when they add the moon to their pictures and paintings. You will look up and see only a tiny part of the moon, but you will not think less of it. You won't think that it is not trying hard enough. You won't assume it is being lazy. You won't find it any less beautiful. You will know that it is simply going through a phase, and that one day, soon, it will be full again. Well, sometimes we are like the moon. Sometimes we go through phases where we are full, and sometimes we go through phases where we can only give others a tiny part of us. And if that's you right now, remember, you are not being lazy. You are still beautiful. You are enough. This is just a phase you're going through, that's all. Just a phase. The game of life. It's okay if you don't know what you want to do with your life at 15, you know. It's okay to not map your whole life out ahead of you before you know who you really are. How could 15-year-old you possibly know what life has in store? How you're going to change, the people you're going to meet and the places you're going to go. It's okay to not map your life out, period. Because life is not a game of chess. You don't have to be constantly thinking 10 steps ahead. The game is going to end at some point, whether you've planned it all out or not. And when this game of life is over, the winner is not the one standing depleted on the board. We are not here to work until we die. We are here to live until we die. And that doesn't mean going on the grandest of adventures each and every day, but neither does it mean forgetting that life itself is adventure enough. So when people ask you what you want to do with your life, it is enough to say, live it and love it. And that will look different at 15 and 25 and 45 and even 95. If you're always looking 10 steps ahead, you're missing out on what's happening right now, on life at this moment. So work hard, yes, but only to live hard. Have a sense of purpose and direction, yes. Use it to steer you right now, and then see where it takes you. Be ambitious, yes, but know that it's okay for some goals to be temporary. Life is not a game of chess. You don't have to limit yourself to specific spaces in the world, specific directions, specific paths, specific encounters. You're here to explore the whole board, to live it and love it. July. One time I met a girl who was a burning ball of light. She glowed with endless energy from morning through till night. Her skin glittered with freckles and her hair was plaited gold, and I decided I would like to be like her when I grew old. For every room she entered soon became a little brighter, and you'd be warmed right to the soul by standing close beside her. She made it feel like summer, even when the sky looked bleak, and she could thaw your winter with a kiss upon your cheek. And people asked why I would want to follow in her glow, and I was always stunned that they just didn't seem to know, 'cause why would I be winter when I could be warm July? What a gift to be the sunshine in another person's sky. crumbs. Promise me something. Promise me that you'll never let anyone deprive you of the very basics of humanity. Never let them make you so hungry that you will accept just scraps of love, crumbs of respect, and tiny morsels of kindness. People who are starving will eat anything, but that doesn't mean they should have to. You are deserving of so much more. A banquet of love, a whole feast of respect, and a full spread of kindness. So promise me you won't go hungry. And if anyone tries to deprive you, remember this. We should all have enough self-love, self-respect, and self-kindness to share. So if they try and starve you, it's because they are hungry themselves. Letting go. There will be some people in life who just won't be able to love you the way you need them to, the way you love them. There will be some people in life who won't treat you the way you deserve to be treated, the way you treat them. And there will be people in life who just can't give you what you want. Sometimes we cling on to these people for far longer than we should, like a tree clinging desperately to its leaves, trying not to let them fall. But they will fall, eventually. And the tree shouldn't blame itself, because the loss, whilst great, is necessary. The tree needs to lose its leaves so it can rediscover its roots and ready itself for a fresh start. You can't keep painting autumn leaves green and expecting them to stay. Deep down, they are always destined to fall. The key is knowing when to let go. History books. The history books will tell you about the kings and the queens and the conquerors. They will tell you of the battles they fought and the castles they built, of the voyages they took, the things they discovered and the progress they made. But the history books won't tell you of the man who joined the fight, the man who left behind a beloved family to help the king win the battle. The books won't tell you of the girl who dressed the queen each morning, or the boy who tended the horses that pulled the royal carriage. The history books will not tell you of the times the conquerors wanted to give up or give in. They will not tell you of the person who told them to keep going, who reminded them of their worth, who held them up when they struggled to stand and gave them strength when they felt weak. So the pages in the history books may tell you that the leaders of the past were made of pure strength, determination and spirit. But do not forget that they had whole armies behind them and whole councils beside them. Yes, even the queens and the conquerors and the kings didn't go to battle alone. They didn't fight alone, didn't walk alone, didn't thrive alone. And you don't have to either. Rubble. When life is throwing bricks and when it's firing its shots, when every day feels like a war you've well and truly lost, when you have no idea why life's determined to attack and leave you in the ruins with no obvious way back, then gather all your strength and all the rubble at your feet and build yourself a place of rest, resilience and retreat. Build the strongest battlements, construct the thickest walls, build the safest keep and stack the towers extra tall, and you will have a castle with its turrets and its columns that you all have built against the odds when life had hit rock bottom. Your castle will remind you that you're tougher than you know, and it will help you realise that no matter what life throws, you will always have the power and you'll always find the strength to use the things it's throwing to build yourself back up again. Queen. They try to talk you down, but what they all have overlooked is that we only get to talk things down if they are higher up. They talk behind your back, but don't be hurt by things they've said, because the reason they're behind you is because you're way ahead. They talk of you in whispers, but they contradict their point because they're proving they're not confident to speak above your voice. See, they've convinced themselves that you're the villain in their story, but that's because you shine a light on all their failed glories. So just ignore the whispers and don't give a backwards glance. Believe you're more than worthy of your current circumstance and rise on up above it. Draw your shoulders back, stand tall, and keep your head held high, Queen, else your crown is going to fall. At the movies. I cannot stress this enough. You've got to learn to fall in love with yourself, to romance yourself the way you deserve. Leave yourself little notes around the house to remind you that you are kind and thoughtful and brilliant. Take yourself a coffee and get lost in your favourite book or your favourite music. Cook yourself a 3-course meal. Dress in clothes that make you feel good. Buy yourself flowers and take yourself to the movies. Stop waiting for other people to love you. There is no one you deserve to be loved by more than yourself. So do it. Walk down the street like there's a soundtrack playing, like you are the lead in the movie of your life, because here's the thing, you actually are. You are the main character. This is your story, your movie. And it will save so much time and so much heartache if you learn to love yourself sooner rather than later. Because when the credits roll, you deserve to have been told you're brilliant. You deserve to have been made to feel good. But more than anything else, you deserve to have been loved. Sparks. There will be times in your life when your light is too bright for others, and there will be times when their light is too bright for you. And let me be honest about something. It is never the light's fault. We always want it to be. We want to blame them for burning so brightly and leaving us in the shadows. We'll want to extinguish their flame so that ours can grow. But all that will mean is that there is less light in the world. And this world needs as much light as it can get. It needs the light bulb moments and the flames of passion and the sparks of hope. You do not need to stand in the shadows, willing others into them too. We are not here to share darkness. We are here to spread light. So go ahead. Shine. The greatest love of all. If you asked your nearest and dearest what they loved most about you, I bet you'd be surprised at their answers. Because whilst you're worrying about not being smart enough or pretty enough or generous enough, whilst you're wishing you could look better, do better, be better, they are admiring the way you can warm a room just by walking into it, how you somehow bring light to whatever you do. They are remembering every time you've been there when they needed you, how you selflessly put them first. They are smiling as they think of the way your eyes brighten and widen when you laugh, and how you have a way of making everyone else smile and laugh with you. They are thinking of all the things that make you lovable, that make you you. So stop searching for reasons not to love yourself. You do not need to look better or do better. You are warm, you are kind, you are fun, you are you. Maybe it's time to start falling in love with yourself. Greatest fears. What's your greatest fear, they ask. We answer right away, but what we're really scared of isn't what we actually say. Because we're not scared of flying, but of falling from the sky. And we're afraid of failing, but we say we're scared to try. It's not that we're afraid to want, but that we're scared to lose, and we are not afraid to ask, but scared we'll be refused. We're not afraid of water, we're just scared that we could drown, and we avoid the climb in case we plummet to the ground. We're not afraid of caves, but of the things that lurk inside, and it is not the dark we fear. It's the monsters that it hides. But if we're scared of trying, then we'll never know success. And if we're scared to hear a no, we'll never hear a yes. If we're terrified to lose, we'll likely never win, and if we're scared of drowning, then we'll never learn to swim. So take the deepest breath. Show the monsters you are brave. Maybe you'll find treasure in the darkness of the cave. Take the biggest step and climb the mountain to its peak. Stretch your arms out sideways and then take the biggest leap, because we're not scared of anything, except of getting hurt. But life without a little risk is not what we deserve, and we can't miss out on living because we're all too scared to die. For if we're afraid to fall too hard, we'll never learn to fly. Sugar and spice. Sugar and spice and everything nice. That's what they say girls are made of. Sweetness and grace and a beautiful face is how they are taught to aspire. But she's bit by bit built intelligence, wit, power and strength, irrepressible grit. And if you're nice, she's nice, but you burn her. and she'll start a fire. Like a girl. She drives just like a girl, you know, and throws just like one too. She fights just like a girl as well. She's just no match for you. She also runs just like a girl, and that's the way she plays. But when they say she's like a girl, I think they mean to say worse, somehow less, somehow slower, somehow weaker. They think that if she's like a girl, they'll easily defeat her. But girls will go to battle when they already are bleeding. And girls are great at throwing themselves upwards through glass ceilings. Girls are busy navigating progress, driving change, and girls are busy winning whilst you criticise their game. So tell her that she's like a girl. She may just prove you right. She may outplay, outlast you, win the race and win the fight, because she's a driving force, fighting for her place in this world. And if you try to talk her down, she'll rise up like a girl. Real. I've cried when I'm happy and cried when I'm sad. I've smiled through the good times and smiled through the bad. I've screamed in excitement. I've screamed out in pain. I've gasped at the sunshine and gasped at the rain. I've laughed when I'm nervous and when I'm elated. I've sighed with contentment and when I'm deflated. I've sung when I'm lonely and sung in a crowd. I've shouted when angry and when I've been proud. 'Cause whether we're up or we're riding low, our feelings are desperate for somewhere to go. We can't keep them trapped and locked up in a cage. They force their way out because they need to escape. And sometimes we're told that emotions are weakness, that feeling is flawed if we let it defeat us. But how could this be? Surely this must be wrong, for what could be weak about something so strong that it cannot be silenced, cannot be tamed, can't be kept down and cannot be contained? So when you next shout, or you laugh, or you cry, you scream or you smile, or you let out a sigh, whatever the reason, just let yourself feel. We're not here to be quiet. We're here to be real. True colours. I looked up the word yellow the other day. I found so many shades of yellow that they'd been distinguished by words like gold, honey, daffodil. I found words like fire and sand and champagne and lemon and sunbeam, and I even found a song. Now imagine someone telling yellow that it's just yellow, when yellow is a sunbeam and a daffodil and fire, when yellow is a song. Without yellow we couldn't make orange and we couldn't create green, and our world would be far less colourful because of it. Yellow's true colours are not limited to one thing, and neither are yours. Some days you are dark and fiery and intense. Some days you are rich and bright and vibrant. Some days you are buttercups and dandelions, and some days you are champagne and a song. And without you, someone's life would be far less bright and far less beautiful. You are you as yellow is yellow, and the world needs you, because no matter what you think, you are not just you. You are so much more. Friendship. Friendship is the type of love that chooses you. It is a love that chooses you when there is nothing to make it stay. A love that says, I have seen you at your highest, I have seen you at your lowest, and I will persevere. Not because I feel obligated to, or because we signed a contract, but simply because you are you, because you matter to me. Friendship is the kind of love that doesn't need a lot of grand gestures, but it's the kind that chooses to make small gestures that mean a lot. It drives out of its way to drop off treats at your door when you're not feeling well. It sends surprise notes in the mail to say, I'm thinking of you. It sends messages without needing a reply when you're going through a tough time, because it knows that you might not have the energy to respond, but it wants you to know that it's there. Yes, friendship is the kind of love that chooses to exist, the kind of love that chooses you for no other reason than the fact you are you. And that's why it is so incredibly special. When you meet again. There are going to be times in life when death steals the people that you love from you, when grief swoops in and descends hungrily and heavily and leaves you feeling empty. And at those times it can be hard to get out of bed and open the curtains, to let the light in. It can be hard to leave the house and speak to people, to let the world in, It can be hard to know how to go on living when the person you love could not. Hard to see the point in moving forward without them by your side. But there is one certainty in life, and that is death. And one day it will steal you too. And when that time comes, wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to regale your loved ones with tales of the adventures you were able to keep having? Wouldn't it be wonderful to tell them how you took them with you, in your heart, and how you felt them by your side every step of the way? Yes. Wouldn't it be wonderful to live a life that is so full that you simply cannot wait to tell them about it when you meet again? When did we all lose the thrill of running full speed down a hill, of marvelling at daffodils until the sun went down? When did we stop spending days on grassy verges weaving braids of plaited fragile daisy chains until we'd made a crown? When did we begin to lose the urge to skip and race and move till we had scuffed our favourite shoes, all in the name of fun? When was it that we forgot, predicting loves me not, with flowers from a wild plot that grew beneath the sun? And when did we begin to miss the chance to stop and make a wish with dandelion clocks we'd picked that grew beneath our feet? Well, I for one do not believe that we forgot how all that feels, but life at some point took the wheel and freedom took back seat. It seems that it got left behind and buried beneath the daily grind, but it's still there for us to find at any time we want. So climb a hill, then run back down. Weave yourself a daisy crown, then blow your wishes to the clouds, because life's too short to stop. Torn. For a long time I would tear myself to pieces trying to play the characters that other people needed on their pages and in their stories. I would try to remember the lines I thought they needed me to speak and the plots they wanted me to follow. And so I became a collage of characters, tiny scraps of different people all a little frayed at the edges. And sometimes I would do great things and sometimes I would make mistakes. So sometimes I became the hero and sometimes I became the villain, no matter how unintentional. But that's okay. I've realised that it's okay, because I've since learned that I'm not a character in someone else's story, and I don't need to tear myself apart trying to fit in. I am my own person. I have my own pages, my own story, and instead of becoming a collage of who I thought I needed to be, I've realised all along that I only ever needed to be myself.